Welcome to Business Coaching Secrets with Karl Bryan. If you want to attract new high-end coaching clients, fill live events, and build a wildly profitable coaching practice where business owners pay, stay, and refer, you've come to the right place. In this podcast, Karl provides his keys to the kingdom for finding and signing high-paying clients and building the coaching business of your dreams. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, coaches around the world, welcome to another exciting episode of Business Coaching Secrets. It's your boy, the Road Dog, with none other than the Dolphin Whisperer, the King of the Caribbean, the man on top of the hill, Karl Bryan. Welcome to the program.
Yo, shoots. Dolphin Whisperer, could be it. Shoots. I see dolphins all the time, man. Getting good at it. I'm calling them.
So,
and they're not coming.
Quick question. How do you, from afar, tell the difference between a dolphin fin and a shark fin?
Buddy, I think last week there's a dolphin, and he's scooting up on a sandbar, and I was like, oh, cool, a dolphin. Let me go play. And then I'm like, hold on a minute, hang on. And luckily it was just a dolphin, and it was all good, but whoo.
Good thing you're in the water, hey? But no one noticed that you peed yourself. Oh, that's good. That's key. That is key, bud. Anyways, hey, listen, I want to jump right in. I always have my questions laid out, but I got a late one here, and I just wanted to run it past you because I feel it's a good one, and I think it'll actually help a whole lot of folks out there. So it comes down to niche, or sorry, as the Americans call it, niche selection. And this person wrote in and said, I'm trying to decide between two different niches, and they're quite opposite. And I'm wondering if I could get some perspective. The one is pool service, like pool builders and pool maintenance companies, like just dealing with them specifically, in which apparently this guy's worked with a couple of those in the past. And then the other one is KB's all-time fave, anti-aging. So I'm like, oh, Nikes, I got to bring that one up for Karl. So of those two, would you say there's one better than the other?
I would. I'm at the end of the day, it's how long's a piece of string, right? So this is not black and white. This is gray on steroids. So let's go higher level. If I was going to help you pick a niche, what are you passionate about? You love cars? Go help people with, automotive shops and that type of thing. What do you love? What are you passionate about? What are you good at? Remember, you make money at what you're good at, not what you love generally, right? So again, you might love basketball, but you're 5'0". Bad news, it's not going anywhere, right? Okay, so what are you good at? Your expertise, and then experience would be the third one. Okay, so what have you done for a long time? You just said a minute ago, this individual's worked with a couple pool companies. So that would, look, if you could go help pool companies and it was going to be easy for you and predictable, that would have to factor into my decision making, right? Look, the market, like one of the things, look, do you live in, like where I live, it's, like it's sunny 24/7, right? The temperature like practically does not change. Look, without doing 5 seconds of math, that there's going to be more pools sold and set up here than there are in a geography where there's 6 months of the year where there's snow, right? Like in the middle of Canada, Saskatchewan, where where my wife's from and where a lot of her family is from. I don't need to do, again, 5 seconds of math to know that, pools in Saskatchewan are going to be significantly less than they are in, Kelowna, where you live, Road Dog, where I used to live, right? Vancouver, the warmer parts of Canada, 101. So again, where are they situated? That would factor in, which brings me to the other bit. Why do I love it? Look, do I love anti-aging? Kinda, but the reason I love it is the population. Let's go North America here, right? Is the population in North America aging? That's a hard yes. Okay. Well, as what are the truths? What are the realities? What's not going to change? Are people going to be all of a sudden be happy with lines around their eyes and their chins kind of dropping and whatnot? Or is that something that they're going to want to combat with consistency? I would dare say that that is really predictable. So that tells me that the anti-aging niche is a big one that is growing, right? So, again, we've said many a times at different times on the podcast, great money is made with trends. You could be the stupidest guy on the planet, got in early on Bitcoin, and you look like a superstar, right? You could be the dumbest guy ever and got in on Botox 20 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever, and you could be looking real good because you got in on a trend, right? When the best time to buy real estate is during a boom, right? You buy a house for whatever number, 500 grand, a million, 3 million, doesn't matter the number. Let's just use 1 million for easy math. During a boom, basically you bought a house for $1 million that is worth 1.2, 1.3 within 12 months. And is that realistic? And the answer, do your math during a boom. And the answer, that is realistic. Is it really good timing? Yes. Is it going to be consistent? No. But that's the best time to buy real estate. A lot of the people that crushed it in real estate, it's timing. You know what I mean? As much as anything else. Literally talked to one of my best buds in Australia yesterday, talking about real estate. He was talking to me about, he wanted to talk about currency trading, day trading, and flipping houses. And let's just go to flipping houses. Introduce me to a guy who flips houses, or a gal that flips houses, or a family that flips houses. And I'll introduce you to somebody who makes money, gives it all back. Makes money, gives it all back. Like, it's kind of the opposite of monopoly. And is that black and white? It's so gray, it's scary. But that said, and by the way, speak to people who have flipped houses for years and tell me if I'm right. And yes, there are anomalies. And yes, there are people that absolutely crushed it. But if you introduce me to somebody who's crushed it, I'll introduce you to somebody who did it in a market that kept going up for an extended period of time. They never took that 2008 bath that does happen. So anyways, day trading, it's the same. I mean, don't listen to me. I know I am not the authority on this subject in any way, shape, or form. Listen to people 10 times smarter than me, and there are a lot of them. Okay, what does Warren Buffett say about investing in stock? You don't even need to follow Warren Buffett to know the answer to this. Would Warren Buffett recommend day trading, right? And I'm laughing for a reason, because it's a hard no. I don't even know if he's ever answered the question, which he absolutely would have. But what does he say? Dollar cost average, invest for the long term. Don't buy a stock that you don't want to own for 10 years, if not a lifetime, right? So look, picking a niche, coming back to that, I would be going like but by the way, is anti-aging, without doing 5 minutes of math, is anti-aging going to be more competitive than building pools? And by the way, building pools, I know, in fact, I've watched the shows on TV, like, there's Pool Kings comes to mind. I know that's a show. I don't know if it's still going, but that was a cool show, right? Like, I've got a couple of swimming pools in a couple of my houses, and like, I like the idea of building like a really killer pool, and that's what these guys do. And they come in, I mean, they charge big bickies. But what's the problem with building a swimming pool? Okay, and it rhymes with recurring revenue. You come in, it's a high unit of sale, which is good. High profit margin, depending upon who you are and how good you are and what area you're doing it, and the price of the homes, and is it an affluent area, or is it the opposite? That's going to change things. But yeah, it lacks that recurring revenue, right? Whereas anti-aging, like, let's just use Botox. Is that something you get once and never again? Do you get your eyelashes? I don't know. Is eyelashes a anti-aging thing? I don't think so, but let's just go there. I just know that my wife is getting her lashes done, right? She's getting her nails. She's getting all that beauty stuff done consistently. Recurring revenue, that is a great market. So anti-aging got a lot more recurring revenue at the foundation than building swimming pools. But again, if I was going to build you a swimming pool, I would want to be the person providing you the chlorine, servicing your pool, opening your pool, closing your pool, right? Again, a business like that could potentially be built up and sold for millions of dollars versus one-off. Like, an example that I've used for years is the dog, right? Do I want to sell purebred dogs for $5,000, $10,000, or do I want to sell dog food? And the answer is, if you have to give me the option, I'm selling dog food every day of the week and twice on Sunday, and that's a business that I could build up value. Okay, not value in the traditional sense, but valuation. Like I could build up value with that and potentially sell it for 7 figures, multiple 7 figures one day, and a subscription play, right? Selling purebred dogs, again, you don't need to give it more than 10 seconds of thought that you sell the dog and then what? The answer is nothing. Like you sell the dog, you get $5,000. Let's call that a decent unit of sale. It's not 500, but it's also not 50,000 or 500,000. On the $5,000, there's a high profit margin, obviously, because it's the dog's giving birth. Don't know if the German Shepherd's going to be charging you. Ha ha ha. Is that funny? Not. Anyway, so that's what I mean, like the recurring revenue nature of it. So I'd rather sell dog food versus purebred dogs, but what I'd really want to do is both, right? So, and I would dare say that the average person building a swimming pool is not thinking along those lines, right? And maybe again, because back in the day, had experience with this, but here's one of the other things. If somebody's going to build a swimming pool, they've got kids under the age of 5 with really like high level of consistency. Well, if you have kids under the age of 5, they can have as much fun in a jacuzzi as they can a swimming pool. So if they can't afford the 50 grand, 100 grand, 200 grand for the pool, what you could do is say, well, look, we're going to have to adjust, the electrical in your house. We're going to have to put in, blah, 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 wiring. You're going to be ready for the pool next year, you say, right? Or you need 18 months, you need 6 months. Let's put in the jacuzzi now, okay, and get your house wired properly. And then when you're ready for the pool, we'll be ready to rock and roll. So that's a downsell, right? And by the way, the 5-year-olds have an absolute bloody hoot in a jacuzzi. Look, is that anyway? So there's a bit of a downsell. So the answer, Shoots, is I would be going to anti-aging as a black and white answer there. I just gave you the reasons why, but again, show me what you're passionate about, show me what you're good at, show me what you have experience in. Again, a high unit of sale. I always want to go in, if I'm picking a niche, I didn't say this, I want a high unit of sale, right? I don't want to help a massage therapist charging $100 for a massage because she pays a business coach $2,000 a month. You got to do 20 massages to break even. That doesn't sound like a long-term relationship to me. So anyway, so that Shoots, I'm going to leave that there. That's my answer. Would want more information, but hopefully that gives them a foundation. What do you think? You like?
Yeah, the thing that struck me there was, as you always say, get in front of the parade, right? Like, and I
Yes.
think that's a big one.
Yeah, explain that, but get in front of the parade because the other bodies behind you push you, right? Or like surfing, right? Like I lived in Australia a long time and I used to surf with my buddies who are really good. Look, you gave me a good wave and I could actually surf and look like I knew what I was doing. Right. You give me a 2-foot wave, I look like the bad surfer that I am, but my buddies could look pretty good. You know what I mean? So that a better wave makes me look like a much better surfer, the same way that the parade will push you forward. So anti-aging, the aging population is the metaphor, is the example there for the parade pushing forward. So how's that? That good?
Love it. Love it. Love it. Now to completely change gears because we got to get back on track for the pod here. Let's start out with the Zen thought of the week. Shoots.
Shoots, you keep asking this, and I should be preparing at a higher level, expecting this question.
Just as I guess a Zen master would, he just goes with the flow.
Yeah. Hence, that's why you keep asking, because I'm pretty sure I give some horrible answers, and I am the opposite of the Zen guy. But that said, I'm on a journey myself, and I'm getting a little better. Meditating and being super present and blah, 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 blah. You know what? Zen thought. I'm going to say this. So I just took my wife and daughter to the airport yesterday. Took my daughter out e-foiling, which, by the way, I got a really cool video I'll send you. But anyway, so it's, the blue waters, to-do. Also took her out the day before that. We went on the Sea-Doo and, saw 4 dolphins, and they just, they come right up. Pretty cool. But my daughter, like she's 11, you know what I mean? And you might have kids that are that age, or you might have kids that are significantly older, you might have grandkids, but I'll tell you, man, it makes me sad when I think of the fact that, she's 11, and we know that 0 to 11 went real fast. You know all about that, road dog. And 11 to 16 is going to go even faster, right? It's like the toilet roll, the toilet paper. The first half of the toilet roll takes forever, and the second half of the toilet roll goes really, really quick. I just know, because what we do for a living, how quick these years are going to go, and it takes my breath away when I think of, she's at that age where she just loves dad, and we rollerblade around the house every night. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Translation: the ultimate gift that I can give her is my presence. The ultimate gift she can give me is her presence. Not that I expect that of her, but I hoped if I show up, she shows up at a higher level. The same way that, when you're training a dog, when you show up anxious, the dog is anxious. When you show up very calm, the dog is calm, right? It's a 101, the dog whisperer show. So the ultimate gift you can give is presence. And if you, like, most people want to slow down time. It's going so fast, like I said about the toilet roll. And the only way that you can slow down time, or at least to my knowledge, the best way, the elite way, what the heavyweight folks in the psychology world, and I'm going to say not the the traditional psychology world, but like our world of psychology, where we really get granular and down to brass knuckles. The way to slow down time is to be present. So that's my like your kids, that, like, my daughter, she's rollerblading around the house. Look, do I want to, at 7:30 at night, I'm getting a little bit tired, right? Time for bed for dad, or to finish up a little, whatever, right? Do I want to put my rollerblades on? And the answer is maybe, right? I don't want to say I don't want to, but I can tell you that, but my daughter wants to spend that time with me, and she's rollerblading around the house, and she wants me to rollerblade around the house, and she's practicing these tricks. And I grew up, I grew up on skates, and I can, wheel around very comfortably. So I'm doing the tricks, and she's doing the tricks. Do you know what I mean? And it's just bloody amazing, So I think this is an email that I wrote. But it's like the kids don't care what you look like in your bathing suit. They care if you get in the damn pool, right? Translation: get in the damn pool, right? Anyway, so that's a little bit of, I don't know. I just, again, it's my daughter, just seeing her off yesterday. I was like, oh my gosh, it's summertime, right? You don't get a lot of these anyways, maybe. And, coaching clients and everything else, really, really be present. Like, it's a big, like when somebody gives you an answer, are you listening to respond? Are you listening to listen? Are you listening to learn, right? Again, be present with your coaching client, and you'll find that they'll retain at a significantly higher level. And yeah, here's a conversation that I had. In fact, I sent a text to somebody, just somebody business-wise, number one lead generator in the, one of the top lead generators in the world. And my message was this wasn't me speaking to him, by the way, but this was a conversation that we were having. But my message looked a lot like, stop executing on ideas and start executing on plans, right? Translation: create a plan. Your willpower will fail far more than your plans ever will. So stop changing the plan and start changing your commitment, your dedication, your intestinal fortitude towards your plan. You know what I mean? But again, I want to create a plan, being the operative 3 words of what I just said. Ideas are great. Everybody's got an idea, though, right? Like, what do they say about everybody's got a bum hole, right? And everybody's got an idea. You know what I mean? Look, the idea is great. Now, just send them. This is what, look, Bezos would always say, you got to show up. Like, I can't remember quite what it was, but in order for you to put your idea forward, I'm going to say, for the executive meeting, you had to write a 7-page, 11, I can't remember, but I'm going to call it a 7 or an 11-page memo on your idea. And once you had that and you present it to everybody before the meeting, then you got to present it. Until you did, you weren't allowed to. Right. So again, what did I just say? Most people don't create the plan. Right. And by the way, and this is Keith Cunningham 101, but a description of the destination is not a substitute for a roadmap to the destination. Right. So the goal without a roadmap is useless. Right. So yeah, the goals are great, but that is a picture of the destination. If I can describe the World Trade Center, if I could describe the Mona Lisa, that is not a roadmap to get there, right? So if we're going to go see the Mona Lisa, we're going to have to book some flights. We're going to have to get on a plane. We're going to have a hotel room, et cetera. You know, have a specific day that we're going to go, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Expect to be underwhelmed. Am I allowed to say that? Is that okay? Anyway, though, you know, I'm not even going to go there, but yeah, whatever. So, and maybe, you know what, if that's a bucket list thing for you, go for it. You know what I mean? It was cool. My wife and I went to go see it. Very hard to see. Bring binoculars, maybe. That's why it's a little disappointing, by the way. But anyway, so again, a goal, a picture of the destination should not be mistaken. It's an idea. Create a plan. And lastly, shoots, and in the message that I sent, it's just money. This is absolute fact, right? It's straight off my whiteboard that is in my office. Money follows management. Okay. I think you got an idea, and then you need the plan, and then you need the management to see through the plan. Probably have leadership in between those two, a little bit of leadership to inspire and keep everybody going. But money follows management. I think not very Zen, but the Zen thing is just, you know, just be present. And by the way, you know who the ultimate person to be present with is you. You know what I mean? Like I said, you know, I got the house to myself here for a few days, and I plan to spend a little bit of time, you know, with me and only me, with my dog. My dog runs around, follows me everywhere. But you know what I mean? I'm just gonna, you know, Karl Bryan is gonna spend a little bit of time with Karl Bryan, and he's gonna enjoy it. And we're gonna, you know, do a little bit of meditating and Zen, like be present. Go for a walk on the beach and feel your feet up against the sand, or go for a walk on bare feet and feel your feet up against the pavement or the grass or the dirt or what have you. There you go, Shoots. That's all I got, man. I don't know. It's my Zen rant.
I can't believe you compared children and how fast they age to toilet paper. That's that's a new one for me there, buds. I don't even know where to go with that.
Parenting 101, my book's coming out. Shoots, watch for it. There you go.
Yeah, it's gonna be I'm not gonna say international bestseller, but
you know Beebs, our buddy Beebs, right? He so you go to his house, and what is it? You take it, you know, you're in the bathroom, washroom, restroom, whatever you want to call it, doing whatever you're doing. And on the wall it says, everybody wants to change the world, but nobody wants to change the toilet paper, the toilet paper roll. And I love that. I think it's a very Zen. There you go. Let's finish the Zen.
There you go. By the way, I love that Keith Cunningham quote. A description of the destination is not a substitute for a roadmap. Wow.
By the way, that's my take on it. I don't know if that's a Keith Cunningham. It's not quite exact, but yes, correct. I know. Description, you know what I mean? Like you could tell me draw me the Eiffel Tower, give me a picture of the Eiffel Tower. That ain't getting me there. Right? And idea without a plan. Look, Road Dog, get a great idea. Perfect. Bring me back your plan. Right. And I want it to be good. Right. Anyway, one of the things that we've done internally, we've started running, calling it like a challenge culture, which our clients are starting to kind of see. And it's a lot of, you know what I mean? Like we're basically just, you know, doing challenges, right? And like think of them as workshops, right? And it's just like, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's just a lot of, you know, what they're doing is drawing out roadmaps. We give them templates and, you know, we guide them, but I'm also very, very careful to give them too much of a template and too much guidance. Because at the end of the day, you know, systems stifle creativity. We have some very, very smart people, significantly smarter than I'll ever be, PhDs, MBAs, and, you know, all kinds of really, really intelligent folks. So I'm like, well, look, here's a framework, but fill your boots, right? It's been really, really interesting. The one on social media was it was lights out, and we get another one coming shortly. So it's a plan, you know what I mean? So here's an idea at the beginning, like, you know, getting clients on social media, and then they're formulating their own plan and executing. So it's kind of cool, man. Kind of cool. Road workshops, and challenges.
Hey, you mentioned Bezos briefly, and as Bezos is, you know, busy setting sail across the Atlantic, any other Bezos lessons, if you will, others should hear that still, I guess, stick with you?
Yeah. Is he doing it hard? Like on that yacht, how do you think he's doing, Shoots? Do you think should we feel sorry for him? Is he doing it hard? Is he doing the dishes?
But it's a grind, right? Like,
right. It's like poor Bezos. Eh? I remember, oh my God. So the year that he got divorced, okay, so if anybody gets divorced, right, what you do is like when most people think that you lose half, you don't lose half, you lose 60 minimum, by the way, right? So you get divorced, you lose 60. And the year that Bezos, this is no joke, you look it up, right? The year that Bezos got divorced, his net worth increased by like 78, I don't even know what the number is, but 78, like $1 billion, right? Or some crazy number that is just like, oh man, so I think he's doing all right with his supermodel. Anyway, sorry. Okay, the question, you want some Bezos magic? We used to always cover a lot of Bezos magic. We've gone away from that. Is that what I'm doing?
100%. Let's go.
Okay. Here's what Bezos would say. And by the way, what you're going to see is that there's very few interviews out there with Bezos. And the ones that are, I'm telling you, he drops bombs. And I've said this many a times, like, reading the bestseller from like the influencer on Facebook, look, that's great, right? Read letters to shareholders from Jeff Bezos every year from Warren Buffett and the late great Charlie Munger. You know what I mean? Like, read those letters to shareholders over, the sales book, and that might provide, and may not, by the way. It's everybody's journey is different, and I encourage you to read what you feel, but I can tell you that letters to shareholders by Bezos is just like it's like a university class on steroids. There's a book, I can't think of it, but there's a book by Buffett. It'll be pretty, it's not letters, it's not his letters to shareholders, but it's kind of like the highlights of his letters to shareholders over many years in a book. And I can't think of the book title right now, but if you looked at, the 10 best-selling books about Warren Buffett, I guarantee it'd be in there. It'd be very obvious. Anyway, so something to think about. But here is what he has said, and this is what he says in his interviews. And again, very few interviews, but they're amazing, right? So he's not on Facebook every day trying to inspire you, right? He says that you can build a good way to build a business. This is my words, big time, right? But a good way to build a business is to look at trends. I said that earlier, and what things are going to change. And he says that's one way of doing it. And I would put that down as an intelligent, logical, and worthy undertaking. But at Amazon.com, I've done the opposite. I go to truth. I go to first principles. Again, my words, not his, right? But he goes to what will not change. That's what he does. That's what I'm trying to say. He goes to what will not change, and he built Amazon on that. And what are two things that he says that absolutely will not change? And he says people will never want to get away from wanting lower prices, and they will never want to get away from fast delivery, right? So guess what the hallmarks of Amazon are? Low prices, fast delivery, the end, drop the mic, show's over. Right. And by the way, customer obsession is also something that is littered throughout any interview, any talk, any written word, any book written about Amazon, like the Everything Store, etc. Just total customer obsession. Another thing, at day one every day, and that kind of comes back, I think, customer obsession and day one every day, no matter how big they got, they never lost their ability to make hard decisions, quick decisions. You know what I mean? Like they kept a first day, man. It's much easier at a small company to make a fast decision than a big company. No doubt, that's obvious, right? Well, what happens to big companies? And there's, good to, read the book Good to Great. It's got like a certain number of case studies, and it talks about different companies. They're all out of business. Right? And why do big companies become small companies? Why do big companies go belly up? Because they're like the Titanic with their decision making, and the little incumbents come in. It's like Amazon against Walmart. Walmart could have owned the space times a million. Everybody knows that. But Amazon came in with a day one mentality and an aggressive guy like Bezos, willing to think long term, and crushed it. So small companies, again, they take the market share, and that's exactly what Amazon did. But the reason they never lost it is that what he will say, right? Day one every day, day one every day, day one every day, fast decisions. Another Bezos, what is he? I don't know if this is exactly accurate, but never make more than 3 big decisions in a day. And this isn't going to be rocket science, but he did it at like 10 a.m. instead of 5 p.m. Translation, when he was awake, when he was alert, when he had higher levels of energy. At the end of the day, he was kind of lacking a little bit. You know, the mental models and that sort of thing aren't working as congruently and working as smoothly. So we did. So your coaching client, how are they doing? Are they thinking long term, or are they, you know, making multiple decisions per day, the biggest decision at 5 o'clock? You know, like, guide them on these sort of things. And when you read the letters to shareholders, as I said, it's like a university education. But what you're going to find is he, like, literally unwavering since day one. You know what I mean? Like, you can see the long-term vision unfolding in those letters. And again, they're written, you know, like, they're not written about the past, although they are a little bit, right? They're written about where they're going, the different things that are coming out. And they had, you know, lots of setbacks, right? But he didn't waver. And the reason he didn't waver is he was thinking long-term. Right? Like, you know what I mean? When you're driving from LA to New York and there's a detour, if you know exactly your destination, it's really easy to just take the detour, you know, take an extra 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. There's an accident, and you just go around it and you keep going because you know the destination, right? But you don't know the destination. Those detours and whatnot can throw you off. If you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there, right? Like, if you don't know where you're going, there's no off ramps. You don't get to get off the highway. Makes me think of, you know, there's European Vacation, Chevy Chase. Love that movie. Anyway, so they're in the roundabout, and he's just going around and around and around and around and around. Oh, I'd watch that part of the movie. I could watch it over and over again and just laugh just as much now as I did the first time I saw it. But he's like sweating and he's laughing and he's just like, I just can't get over. I just can't get over, right? And he's sweating and everybody's pissed off in the car. But anyway, so metaphor for your life, your business, your client's life, your client's business. If they don't know where they're going, they can't get there, right? You've got to help them build that bullseye. You got to build the little red arrow. You are there. You know, again, super important. You can't read a map if you don't have that. And then you need the destination where they're trying to get to, right? He was very clear on where he was trying to get to, and the little stumbling blocks and the issue. You know, remember, it was Amazon.scam. You know what I mean? He didn't care, right? And he had no interest in profit, which is insanity. Am I suggesting you should do that? Am I suggesting your client should do that? No. Like, and by the way, maybe they should, maybe they shouldn't. You got to show me how deep their pockets are. Understand Amazon, a very, very different world, but I can tell you it's definitely long-term thinking, right? I'm just going to say this. I'm going to finish with this. Most people, like, funnels are very, very popular. Okay, should your client have a funnel? I'm going to say yes. But I believe that the optics of a funnel are all wrong. Where if a funnel, you drop water in the funnel, and what happens? It slides down, like, think of a water slide, right? You just got to get started, and you're going down whether you want to or not. That is not, that's not the way I see business unfolding and the accumulation of clients unfolding. I see it as a series of cliffs more than I do a funnel, and I think that it's significantly more powerful. Like, either they give you the email address or they don't. They either book on the calendar or they don't. They show up to the call or they don't. They schedule the follow-up call or they don't. They give you the credit card number or they don't. They show up, you know, they have buyer's remorse or they don't. Do you know what I mean? Like, see it as a series of cliffs as opposed to a funnel that just like a slippery slope. And I think that you'd be significantly better off. So you're thinking like Amazon is built on a flywheel. We've talked about that a lot of the time in the past. You know, it's got like network effects working in its favor on steroids. Sandbox would be growth loop, but the biggest companies in the world are built with growth loops and flywheels, not with funnels. Because what happens when you fall at the bottom of a funnel? You fall out, right? So a series of cliffs. I think that that's powerful. And an example of a coach long-term thinking is, how fast does 90 days go for you? I think you'd agree. We've talked about it earlier, right? Like, unfortunately, the years, you know, the days last forever and the years fly by. We say that to, you know, when you have kids, the days last forever, the years fly by. Business, similar. So if 90 days is going to fly by anyway, and you struggle to close the particular coaching client, I've given this advice for years and years and years, and I have people that, by the way, there's people that think I'm wrong about it, and that's okay. That's their prerogative. But I can tell you, I've also got clients that tell me this is some of the best advice they've ever got, including, a client I've got that does $30 million, been a client for he's been a client for like a decade, right? So he will tell you that this is really, really good advice. It's just scale pricing, right? So as an example, let's say that you're $2,000 a month for easy math. Instead of charging $2,000 in month one and then having the guy have to go away or the gal go away and speak to the husband, speak to the wife, what if you did it 500, 1,000, 1,500, and then 1,997 ongoing? So you had a $24,000 client for a $500 commitment. Yes, the first 3 months are not as exciting, but remember, the first 90 days are going to go fly by anyways, right? Or you're $5,000 a month. Okay, month one, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. You close a $60,000 coaching client with a $1,000 commitment. You tell me if you're, I got a 10,000, 2,500, $5,000, 7,500, 10 grand. And do you start there? Not necessarily, right? But at the end of the day, it's about getting that deal done. So that, in my opinion, would be an example of somebody in business coaching thinking like Jeff Bezos. And I can tell you that what I just described, I have put multiple seven figures in my bank account as a result of that. So anyway, so that's Shoots. That's my answer. Bezos, like we could go on and on and on and on. The guy he will go down as one of the best of the best of the best. Although he did step away from Amazon, and I thought that they were going to take a little bit of a hit and his genius would be missed incredibly. That's, so that, whether they did or they didn't, look, it's not, if Bezos was at the helm, I believe that it would be more magical, but done a bang up job. And so many Bezos is a stud, man. So that's my answer. And I think that anybody, any business coach, any entrepreneur would be very, very well, they'd be doing a real good job by themselves and their clients and their learning and their ability to impact by studying him as much as you possibly can. That's my answer, Shoots.
I got a question for you though. Now that when you were saying the scaled pricing in,
yep,
I know we're gonna have questions, Carl. Would you ever coach for free? Because I heard of a coach and he does quite well. And I said, so how do you do, what do you do? He goes, I just give an offer that they can't refuse. And that is, hey, you know what? I want to work with you. I want to give you access to all of my tools. I want to give you access to all of the coaching, everything, your entire program, completely free to you for 30 days. And it's our job to make you fall in love with us in the first 30 days that you'll want to continue working with us. What do you think of that?
Yeah, Shoots. Look, okay, little red arrow, you are here. How many clients does he have? Does he have coaches underneath him? Does he have the bandwidth? Is his goal to hit seven figures? Is his goal to watch his kids grow up? Does he want to hit, 150 grand with 80% margins and have an easy lifestyle? Or does he want to hit seven figures and complicate, like have a more complicated business, quote unquote, make more money, make more impact? Like what are his, so the little, there would be, more, and by the way, where's his airplane? Is this airplane on the tarmac or is his airplane at 10,000 feet? His experience.
Well, this guy's already doing quite well. And it's his way of just adding people into the pipeline, I guess, right?
Okay.
But I guess my question to you is if you're willing to scale somebody, let's say at 500, would you even consider just saying, you know what? Why don't we just work free for the first month? Would you consider that? Or is that a bad move? Because you know how people are. It's like, because you always say, you don't have a money problem, you have a refusing to help people for free problem.
Before they pay you problem. That is correct.
Right.
Yep. Look, you know what? I would use the data and I would say, look, sign up 10 people, show me the numbers, sign up 25 people, show me the numbers, show me, get to 100. And then I think the answer will shake out for itself. But again, I don't know. I think that's a great, I have zero problem with the model. I think it's a great idea.
Well, there you go, folks. It's all about helping people, right? And if nothing else, you could do like a case study thing, you could do whatever, right? You get those case studies, you get the ball rolling of that, and then you sort of go from there. So, all right, Shoots, close us out with just one nugget from today's episode that somebody can take and implement into their business today.
One nugget. I think what we just went over, you know what I mean? Like thinking long term, you know what I mean? Because again, look, a business coach that struggles is somebody who sees it as an experiment and decides every 90 days if they're going to keep going, right? You've got to go all in. And what you're describing, you know, the guy doing, look, I don't need to meet this individual. If that's what he's doing, the guy is all in. And he really believes in his system. He believes in himself. He believes in his coaches. He believes in his product. He believes in his clients. In many cases, believes in his clients before they believe in themselves, which I think is very powerful. You know what I mean? So you gotta go, you gotta have that long-term vision. So if you are willing to work for significantly less than you're worth, let's just say, for those first 3, you know, maybe 6 months, maybe 3 months, maybe 1 month, you decide. But you know what I mean? If you are willing to do that, I think that it just shows your commitment. Notwithstanding, look, I always say it, Tom Brady threw the football for free before he started getting paid. And he did it for a long time, and he did it with zero guarantee of any financial reward whatsoever, right? So Tom Brady, without meeting him back in the day, we know that he was all in on throwing that damn football and the game of football and the sport of football and the rule book of football, you know, like the first principles. I mean, he just loves it. In fact, I watched, there's a preseason game last night. I saw Julian Edelman, and what he said is that, so Tom Brady is going to be starting as a, what do you call it, sportscaster. He'll be on there doing some color commentary, et cetera. And he said that he's super excited for he's excited for Tom, but he's excited for the fans to be able to see the knowledge that Tom Brady has around football, right? And I was just like, oh my gosh, you know, like Michael, at the end of the day, Michael Schumacher, who was he the greatest F1 driver of all time? Don't know, but he's certainly one of the greatest, if not, you know, he's up there with the best of the best of the best. Well, he was a mechanic, right? He knew the car better than, he would bring the car in and say, here's the problem, change this, change that, it's too loud, it's too this, it's too that. You know what I mean? Because he was a mechanic. The other guys that are just driving without that knowledge of, you know, of the car, that was a big reason why he was so successful, right? You go to Jordan was the greatest offensive basketball player of all time. He was amazing. They literally said, like, at what stage do you fly? Because the guy was that gifted, you know, that he could launch himself, you know, at the 3-point line almost, you know what I mean, and dunk the ball, which nobody could stop, right? Because he held the ball up in the air and going so fast. But then he became the real Michael Jordan stood up when he became Defensive Player of the Year, right? He won the MVP of, like, I don't know, he was the highest scoring player in the entire NBA and won Defensive Player of the Year, right? So like that, you know what I mean? So if you're listening to this, I give you a full high 10, do you know what I mean? Because again, I'd like to think, right? What you're doing is you're educating yourself around coaching, around consulting. You're taking your own learning, you're taking your own career, you're taking your own necessity to be able to help people at the highest level seriously, whereby you're out there trying to find nuggets. Remember, Warren Buffett does read for, like, what they say, like 80% of the day he spends reading. He's not, what he's looking for are little nuggets, nuances, little nuances, because those little nuggets, those little nuances are needle movers for all the other stuff that he's got. Same way that I said, you know, Barry Bonds was up on the show. Barry Bonds is actually, that was on the pre-show, but, you know, Barry Bonds being, you know, a hell of a home run hitter. When he falls into a slump, he doesn't go from being left-handed to being right-handed. He doesn't go from hitting home runs to bunting. They say, keep your eye on the ball, keep your elbow up, lower your butt, bend your knees. Like, those are the exact same instructions you give a 10-year-old learning baseball, the exact same instructions we're giving the guy at the top of his game, you know, hitting more home runs than anybody else in the sport, you know, and completely feared by coaches, you know, by managers and pitchers. Why? Because they don't want to lose their job. That's why, make no mistake about it, that's why they pitch around Barry Bonds, right? Because they don't want to lose their job. They don't want to have to turn around and watch the ball go over the fence, right? Well, they go to, if they're, you know what I mean? It's the fundamentals. It's the absolute fundamentals, right? So anyways, so that's my rant, Shoots. What do you think? How'd I do?
Well, I'm glad you could bring Tom Brady back into the equation. Are you wearing your Uggs already right now, or is that come after later in the day? It's hard to say.
Later in the day, Shoots.
All right. On that note, everybody, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Business Coaching Secrets with none other than the man, the myth, the legend, King Karl. And if you're not on the inside and you're not getting access to the pre-show that we keep talking about, and you aren't getting Karl's daily emails, you aren't getting all the content, you aren't getting introduced to what flash coaching or profit acceleration software, all that stuff is, go visit focus.com, folks. Do yourself the favor and go to focus.com and subscribe today. And again, if you enjoyed the podcast, please share it, as we're trying to get this message out and help as many people as we possibly can. And of course, as always, we'd appreciate if you'd rate the episode as well. And that is it for another week. We will see you in the next episode. And remember, folks, progress equals happiness. Take care, everybody.
Karl Bryan built Profit Acceleration Software 2.0 to train business coaches how to find any small business owner more than $100,000 in 45 minutes without them spending an extra dollar on marketing or advertising. This becomes a business coach's superpower. So as a business coach, you'll never again have to worry about working with business owners that can't afford your high-end coaching fees. Check us out at focused.com.